Now that we got our bouncing ball completed, we want to be able to export it so that we can share it with others, whether it be your fellow students, your teacher, or just people on the internet if you like. So to do that, we're going to use what's called Adobe Media Encoder. Adobe Media Encoder is a separate application that Adobe made. It doesn't do a lot. Mostly what it does is it converts video types or audio types from one to another. And with video and animation programs like After Effects, it'll actually allow you to export videos from After Effects through it using the H.264 compression setting, which is a very standard setting. Most online video programs use it now, such as YouTube or Vimeo. So we're going to be exporting through Adobe Media Encoder to make our video. So what I would recommend doing first is opening Adobe Media Encoder up and letting it run so that you get this sort of display on it. Now, if you open up Adobe Media Encoder and it launches and you don't see the queue section, make sure you go in the window and actually enable the queue. I've had a lot of students that have had this problem in the past where this is all they see and they think that they're not sending the video over, but really they're filling up their queue with multiple versions of the video. So make sure the queue is visible. That's one of the most important parts of importing this from After Effects. The other thing I recommend doing is saving your file somewhere where you know you can find it later. So just set up a folder structure for yourself of your After Effects files and save your file in there. It'll make everything a lot easier because if you've already got a save location before you send the video over, it'll automatically use that location to export the video as well. Okay, so you can pause the video and get all that set up. Whenever you're ready, you can unpause the video and I'll show you how to export the video to Adobe Media Encoder. So to export, you're going to go up to File. You're going to choose Export and then Add to Adobe Media Encoder Queue. Now, if you've already launched Adobe Media Encoder, this is going to make it come over a lot quicker. Otherwise, you're going to have the processing power to both launch the application and make the connection to After Effects at the same time, which tends to slow it down more. I'm going to choose that. It's going to take a little bit, depending on how fast your computer is, but eventually it'll make a connection between the dynamic link server to from one Adobe program to the next. What should happen is after a while the project will just show up here in your queue. So we'll just have to wait for that to happen. Come on, Mika. All right, so to save you guys some time, I went ahead and just clipped out that middle section where it was just me waiting for this to come over, but now I can see that I have my video project here. So most of what I have here is actually set exactly the way that I want it. If I look here, I can see that it's set to H.264. That's good. If you see something other than H.264 here, what you want to do is click right here on this drop-down menu and choose H.264. Do not choose H.264 Blu-ray, H.264. I like to leave mine at match source high bitrate. If you know a little bit about compression, you can go in here and make some adjustments. For instance, you may want to do a 2-pass instead of 1-pass, but if you're new to this stuff, high bitrate should work fine for you. And this is going to be the location of where this is going to go. So if I click here, it'll actually tell me where it's going to go and what it's going to be saved as. And it's going to save it in a folder with the rest of my files. So I want it to be named Bouncing Ball. I would probably actually use proper naming for it. And hit save. When you choose save, it's not actually going to save the file. It's just going to save the location, the naming of the file. To actually export and save that file out, you're going to need to click up here where it says Start Queue. And since this is a pretty small project, it should render really quickly for you. See it going down here. Hopefully quickly. All right, so I skipped some of it, so you wouldn't have to sit there and wait for my computer to catch up and render it. But once it did start rendering, it went by really, really quickly. So let me go ahead and hide all this. And let me locate my video file. I don't feel like looking for it. You can also, if you've already rendered out, you can just click on it, the location, and it'll find it for you. And it should shoot out an MP4 that you can preview within QuickTime or whatever your default video preview is. So if you are taking my class, then this is going to be something that I require that you guys use to export your videos so that we can do that H.264 compression. This will give you smaller file sizes and make it easier for us to transfer the files within the class. If you're just kind of enjoying this outside of my class, you can use this system. It's something I recommend. There's also a built-in render queue within After Effects, but it kind of stripped out the best version of the H.264 compression within there. So this is still a good avenue to explore.